What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to look at the DX9 Kukinski, their version of a masterpiece Deadend. So this was the final member of the DX9 Senecon set. They finally allowed you to put them together. I actually didn't get the set. I've looked at a couple of the figures. I looked at the drag strip, which they call drag strip. I looked at their Montana, which was their breakdown figure. And now we're taking a look at this. I never actually got a hold of their Motormaster. Maybe at some point I'll take a look at that. But for today, we're just looking at this guy. So let's take a look at the details here. He does have some sort of metallic flecked red paint, or maybe it's plastic. I think it's paint. You got some translucent headlights here with silver paint behind it. Translucent here with silver paint and yellow paint on that. That looks really nice. On the side you got silver wheels with rubber tires. Nice detail there. On the back you've got the old school Porsche taillights. Very reminiscent of this car. It looks a lot like the vehicle. Nice spoiler here. It doesn't pop out like the X-Transbots version. All in all, nice looking car. It does roll. I gotta get a new surface here, but it does roll well. It does come with one accessory, which is this gun. You can fold up this handle here. That's going to expose that tab, and then that can fit into either one of these slots on the top. And that looks pretty cool. And you can put it here too if you like. Of course, you get a collector's card. DX9 has always made some nice collector's card. This is more like the old style masterpiece cards that they were making at Takara Tomy. Here's the back. Here's his tech specs. Here it says Gendarme. I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, there it is. You also get this part. Now, I actually wasn't even sure what this was. I had to ask somebody. They said it's the leg for their War in Pocket version of Orion packs. So I guess if you collect all of them. Now, I didn't see that part in my drag strip, so maybe either the guy who sent it to me took it out. Also, the Montana figure I looked at also didn't have it, so I'm not really sure. But here's the leg. We're not going to look at this because I don't have the other parts to combine it. So that's really it for the vehicle. Let's do a couple comparisons. So there you have Kukinski next to the Fans Toys Senecon that we've gotten so far. And we don't have the Fans Toys version of Deadend just yet. But it fits right in. I mean, it looks good. It's a little on the big side, but overall it fits in with this Fans Toys set. And, you know, it's a good stand-in for now, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'll leave it with this set. Now let's get Kukinski transformed into his robot mode. Before we do that, there is a little feature here. You can open up the doors. We kind of had to get a nail in here, or maybe even a spudger, but you should be able to open the door. It's a little tricky. You can also just open up the entire panel. That'll pop the door open and then put the panel back. And there you go. That's just a little bit easier way to do it. So if you want to kind of put them on the shelf with the doors open, you can have it like that. That looks fine. Alright, so now let's get him transformed. Go ahead and pull these panels out from the side. And if you have a hard time getting at it, just grab a spudger and you can pop that out. Lift that up, fold this panel inside, and just leave that there for now. And take these front pieces, and they're going to pull out and away. Come down to here. You can unpeg this front panel. Just rotate that to the side. Open up his hood here, and that'll allow you to take the entire arm and rotate it this way. Come to the bottom here, you can fold a hand out. So go ahead and take this panel and rotate it, and then sit this panel in the little hole there. We'll just take care of the whole arms right now rather than doing it later. So that's going to fit like that, and then that closes on top. Then come to the top here and then close this panel. It does tab in right there. And you basically have one arm done. So why don't we do the same thing on this side? Go ahead and take the front of the car and unpeg that. Actually, you can open this up and then unpeg this. Rotate this out of the way. That should allow you to fold the arm out. Go ahead and come to here, hold a hand out, rotate this panel, rotate the arm this way, rotate this panel in, and set this into here. Here we go, and then close this down, come to this side and peg it into the arm. Right, so basically you have both arms done. Leave those there for now. Come to the back here, and you do have to actually pop out these doors. So you're going to pop out the panel, not the doors themselves, but the actual side panel here. Just a little bit, and that gives us enough clearance to get this all apart. Right, so go ahead and pull this out. You can see there's a kind of accordion piece here. It's going to allow you to get this whole thing accordion down. And you can actually open up these doors. Come to the inside here and flatten this out. So it should end up looking like this on the other side. Once you do that, you can peg these back in on each side. They peg in here and here. Come to the top here, fold the door in, fold this door in, and then just flatten this roof. It doesn't flatten much, just a little bit. Then take this panel and fold that down and fold that down. Right, so all right, next we'll work on the bottom half, the legs. Go ahead and pull these apart, and you can pull these feet up a little bit and kind of get them as far apart as you can. That's gonna make it easier to get it apart, and it is kind of a tight tolerance here. Actually, maybe just leave these open for now to get as much clearance as you can to open up these legs. So go ahead and open up this panel here, and then we're going to take this panel and that's going to fold out. And the clearances are a little bit tricky on this. You're going to open up his leg, is up to there. We're going to pivot this leg around this way, and then straighten out his knee. Come to the back here. Now we can take care of all of this. So go ahead and open up these panels here, or flatten out the wheel on this panel, and then we're going to rotate this around, and they're basically going to switch places. So push those back through. Fold. Before you push that back down, you got to fold this panel down to make the bottom of the leg. Now you can fold that in and then rotate that into his leg. And that's going to tab in right here and here. And then on the side, this is going to tab into his, and that's going to make one leg. Right, so same on this side. Now we have a lot more clearance, so it's going to be a lot easier. Basically open up this panel, unpeg this entire assembly from here. And I'm still having trouble clearing that, but that's how it's supposed to clear. You can fold this in for now. Open up the leg, and this one's got a slightly different transformation, so you got to push this in. That's like a little bit of a lock, and it's also the tab that kind of keeps it together. So rotate that around, and then we can, this way, rotate that all the way around and straighten out the knee. And next, come into here, open up this panel right here. Open up these panels first, then open up this panel right here and make that down to here. Now you can rotate and flop these around and then push them back up. And then those are going to end up inside the leg. And peg this back together, and then peg this on the side. And his foot can just kind of sit there on the outside. So this is going to be in front of his waist. Make sure you have that the right direction. And then rotate his legs around. Right, now we can peg this back in on the top. So make sure that kind of locks his waist in. On the sides here, you can bring the arms down. Same on this side, bring the arms down. And you should have the elbows facing forward. If you don't, just rotate them around. And the last little bit here, the head, I don't love the way this works, but you're basically pulling the head out of the body. And there's Kukinski in his robot mode. Pretty cool looking. Let's put the G1 cartoon there. Take a quick 360. I'll point out all the paint. You got some silver, darker purplish there, light gray here. On the face, you've got the purple goggles with the gold face mask. All this appears to be painted metallic maroon. Same as we saw. Here's the back, relatively clean. He's very flat, just like a lot of the Fans Toys ones. These DX9s ones are also very thin and flat, but don't really look at it from there, but he does seem a little bit on the thin side. Overall, still a good looking. What is a little strange is the hands. They just seem a little bit too small, but you can open those up there and we can grab his gun and flip this handle down. And then you can peg that in just like every other Masterpiece figure. And he looks good with the gun. Once he's got the gun in his hand, it's not as weird looking, but just without the gun, it just seems a little bit on the small side. Let's go over the articulation on this guy. So the head is on a rotating swivel, so it rotates all the way around. It goes up to there and down to there. Pretty good movement there. No side to side. The shoulders rotate all the way around. They go up on this joint, which was for transformation, and up on this joint, so you can get it kind of pretty high up if you wanted it to. Rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. Rotation at the wrist. Fingers are pinned here, and then the pointer finger is pinned separately, but because he's got the bent finger, you can't really use it anyway, so you might as well just had one pin for the entire hand. Moving down, your rotation at the waist and an ab crunch. You know, pretty much as much ab crunch you would ever want. He can sit down fully, and he can rotate and ab crunch at the same time, so that gives you some dynamic posing. The legs, if you lift up the hip skirt, go up to there, back to there, out to the side, all on friction. Rotation at the thigh. It is a double jointed knee, so you have a bend down here and a bend up here, but because of the sculpt, you can't really get it past 90 degrees anyways, but you can get it bent the other way, which is kind of weird. You do have a toe tilt and a toe pivot up and down, but there's no ankle or any heel. It's just relying on the back of the car, but it is relatively stable even with just those feet holding it up. You can get it into a dynamic pose without it falling down at all. And for comparison, there is Kukinski next to the Fans Toys Stunticons, and he looks good in that set. Obviously, you know, a different aesthetic, different look, just ever so slightly, but you could fit it in and pass it as one of the Fans Toys Stunticons. But there you go for comparison. So final thoughts on Kukinski. Let's start with positives. I think he looks pretty good in vehicle mode and in robot mode, both well designed and just kind of fun to play with, kind of fun to transform. He does come with a nice good looking gun, and he's got some good paint on him overall. Negatives wise, the proportions are a little bit strange. So the chest is very long compared to the rest of the body, and then because he's thin and long, it just ends up looking a little bit strange. Also, the hands are a little bit small, and I noticed that on Dragstrip too. They just tended to put the wrong size hands on these guys. I don't know if it was because they didn't have space or if they just got the proportions wrong, but it just looks a little strange with that size. The feet are also a little bit odd. I mean, you saw I could get it posed here, but it's a little bit unstable because you're posing it on a toe. So you've got a toe tilt and a toe rocker, not necessarily a foot. And so you're balancing it all on that one little toe. But it works. You can make it work. It's just a little bit on the unstable side. So I do recommend it if you are picking up the rest of the DX9 Stunticons. Obviously, you're going to have to pick this up to complete the set and to form Menasor. Either way, I do recommend it. That's really it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.